Grelf, let's get down to business here. So pack token happened. That's exciting. It's great. From your where you're situated, what else in the Hedera ecosystem do you think is really grabbing attention? I know that there was that I saw that you were very excited about that HBAR Foundation announcement of the 100
Yes.
million HBAR stimulus. I was maybe seeing if you could give us your esteemed, nuanced take on that news.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. They're putting monies, right? They're putting monies in the stuff that's in the Hedera ecosystem that peoples are actually using and that people can see. For me personally, I always thought it was kind of weird that they would make commercials targeted at enterprises, for example, when enterprises are not going to watch a commercial and start working with Hedera.
Mm.
Those aren't the people watching the commercials. So maybe you wanted retail people to know that you cared about them, but I just don't really understand that. I think this decision kind of shows that, hey, maybe we should put some effort into showing the people that are doing stuff on the network right now that we care about them. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about getting free money always. Saucer Swap's going to get some liquidity incentives, which, when all the different dexes were launching and they were all getting liquidity incentives, it was a big point of criticism. And I think part of that was because there wasn't a whole lot of other things to do on the Hedera network at that time. So it's like, yeah, you're giving people free money to sit there and just use the DEX. But we're going to have laying markets. We're going to have Gorble snatches. We're going to have all sorts of stuff to do with different tokens on Hedera. So I think, that makes a lot of sense. And as we're going into the bull market, or as I like to call it, the giraffe market, I think we're primed to attract a lot of new people to our ecosystem. And free monies through liquidity incentives and liquidity mining is always a great way to do that.
Okay, so Gorbel Gops and all that stuff aside, it brings an interesting point. So I agree with you 100%. I think that, the HBAR Foundation, this is like key to so many things. And it's great to see all the different projects mentioned in this and then diving into it, like how that's going to be applied for each project. I think you kind of summarized it amazingly. But aside from this, I think that what's even more important for people, and I think what's top of mind across the ecosystem, I would arguably say across the entire crypto industry, is Bertha. And I think that this is something that I think hits so close to the virtues of crypto, and you could argue years in the making. And I think that we're really at almost the finish line here. The only thing we need is the money to get Bertha, to get a giraffe. And I think that it would be great to hear, has there been any movement on this? Has there been any ink put on paper? What is the status of the hash giraffe?
Now, I'm also excited for the hash giraffe. Regardless of what giraffe we end up getting, it's going to have to be named Bertha at this point. We want Bertha on Hedera. Now, I made a video where I formally applied to the HBAR Foundation. So I know they got that application. Okay. I know they got that application. So they've seen it. And I did receive a message from good old Elaine. I think she said something to effect of, we'll look into it, which to me is extremely good sign.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I've ever got a response from somebody that just said, we'll look into it, it's always led to you're getting exactly what you want. And for us, that's a giraffe. I want to be clear about something though. Some people have been saying to me, oh man, wouldn't it be great if Grelf did get that giraffe? First of all, my name's Gerbert, okay? Just calling me Grelf is the same as me calling people human. So it's a little rude, but I'll excuse it. Number two, it's not a giraffe for me. It's a giraffe for us, for the entire Hedera community to look up to.
I've got you. Okay.
Because they're tall, you see.
So what? Okay, interesting. So what you're saying is this, and let me see because I mean, this is really nuanced stuff, but what you're saying essentially is that traditionally the, we won't maybe call ownership, but the stewardship of a giraffe in the past, in most contexts, let's maybe say as a zoo or a sanctuary, you could argue was centralized in some form. But what you're attempting to do is effectively bring to the network, bring to the world, bring to the industry, like a decentralized giraffe, a jointly owned and custodied giraffe. I think that's pretty impressive, but I imagine the complexities in that is crazy. Quick question for you, have you explored any particular giraffes? Is there a particular giraffe? What do the logistics look like for this to actually procure the giraffe? I'm very curious to understand what it looks like once I feel this or high likelihood of this going through. What does it look like? What does it look like when it does?
Well, what does it look like? I've been getting this question a lot, and a lot of people are very interested in doing a deep dive into the logistics of asking the HBAR Foundation to buy me, us, a giraffe. I did Google. Have you heard of Google? I think it's a new site.
Rings a bell.
Right. I think it just came out of maybe a few weeks ago. Anyway, I looked on there, and you can buy a giraffe. You can acquire a giraffe. It's a $10,000 to $50,000, which I don't know how much that's worth. But I think it's probably not that much. So, that's easy. Check that one off for the HBAR Foundation. Then we got to have some land for it to run around in. We don't want our Bertha in a cage. We want our Bertha running free, using that long, stretchy neck to grab all kinds of leaves. So we're going to need some land. Probably Hedera already owns land, but we can buy some land cheap. I hear it's cheap. Maybe in Wyoming, nobody lives there. So after that, it's we got to feed that thing, and probably got to buy some toys. Also, if we get it a bed, it's got to be a really long bed. So there's that to consider.
And I'm thinking too, with a bed, the pillow situation is so different. Pajama situation is very different. There's a lot to consider. So I understand. Yeah, the thinking on this is still unfolding, but that's a great point. And so before I move on with the rest of the show here, I think that we're really getting to something here is thinking about all this and just really feeling today like, man, we're in a different zone right now with Hedera. We got so many things happening. We got centralized exchange listings, real world assets, potential decentralized giraffe ownership. I wanted to get, Gerbert, I wanted to get your quick hot take on what does this year look like for Hedera with all of these new changes in place, all of these new kinds of things coming down the pike, including a giraffe. What do you think this year holds in store for Hedera?
So I think at the beginning of this year in January, I said that this year was going to be the year of Hedera DeFi. And so far, it looks like that's going to be the case, meaning that I am a genius and clairvoyant. So the rest of the year, I think, is going to be a general trend of these similar things. People have been screeching. Respectfully complaining. Respectfully suggesting feedback to the HBAR Foundation for a long time. And a lot of that has to do with focusing more on retail. And we see through DeFi Spring and other initiatives that they've been doing over the past few months that they're listening. And I think that's a really good direction to go in. I think we'll get more listening. I would caution people, if you want someone to listen to you, a lot of times it helps to be nice to them, or at least phrase your feedback in a kind way. So for people that feel frustrated and angry, which I get, sometimes I don't even get to eat all the honeycombs I want because the bees are like, slow down, Gerby, you're slurping our home up. I get wanting more honey in your belly, but you have to consider the person that is on the other end of the honeycomb. In this case, the bees, but I'm talking mostly about the social medias type stuff. If you want someone to work with you, be nice to them, and they'll be more willing to work with you. You don't always have to yell with an angry emoji.
Gotcha. I think that's fantastic advice, Gerbert. Apologies. This This is very
It's
new for me.
okay. I'll take both, you know, like calling me anything except "Arr!" You know, like that's common courtesy to me.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. And I mean, you make good points. I think that what you're saying is next year is really about this ecosystem growing and flourishing, especially with DeFi, but it really depends on the community really coming together. I mean, it's been a tough few years. It's very easy for everyone to kind of retreat into their own corner. Now's the time to come out. Now's the time to get together, because all of these Hedera projects are stronger together, especially when we're dealing with Cointelegraph or different things like that, where maybe, it's not so friendly. It's so much easier for us to deal with that kind of stuff when we're team working, when we're together, when we're doing these types of things. So appreciate those insights, Grelf. And where should people follow along for updates on Grelf Token and the Grelf project? I hope that's also going well for you.
I guess between you and me, they don't really give me a lot of power over that thing.
Oh,
Some
really?
guy showed up in a cloak and he said, "Hey, do you want to be the face of a crypto coin?" And I said, "What's a crypto coin?" He never answered me, but he took the signature from my soul. And then I just started getting letters in the mail and people being mad at me and some people being happy. I don't really know how all that works. As far as I can tell, the crypto network stuff is just a series of hamster tubes. And you just try to find out which hamster wins. But if you want to learn more about Grelf, you can follow me on Twitter, I guess. It's Grelf _, because some other guy already had the name Grelf, and I looked. He's not even a Grelf.
Jeez, Elon Musk should take that account down for impersonation or something like that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Elon Musk has a lot of things to do. Let's be frank here.
Exactly. Okay. Well, Grelf, appreciate you. Thank you for the takes. Thank you for the insights, the inspiration. As always, great to have you on the show. I think this is the first time I've had you on the show. I don't have a great memory, so I can't really remember if you've been on the show. So I think it's been the first time.
I can't remember either. So we're simpatico in that regard.
Love it. We're on the same page. All right. Appreciate you, Gerbert. Have a great day or evening, and you're in the stump, and keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Right on. God, it's so hard to keep a straight face with that. Oh my God.